Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gaming Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I'll try my best to make this video as brief as I can. Somebody messaged me, or actually a couple of people, I would say more than a couple, but let's just throw it out there as a couple of people who are, audience members on this channel asked me if I was going to cover the leaks for the Division 2 Heartland. My responses were kind of somewhat political. One of them, I was like, well, because of unforeseen circumstances, I'm not able to speak on anything regarding this matter. And then another response I gave was just a straight up no. But at the end of the day, it still comes down to, addressing the elephant in the room and looking at it from a perspective of mine. So before I even continue this video, I'm going to go ahead and put out a disclaimer saying I can neither deny nor confirm that I know anything about the Division Heartland. You're just going to have to take that for what it is. In my own professional job, I work in education, and I have to follow FERPA laws in the United States anyways. Won't tell you jack squat if I'm actually bound to those laws. So you can even think about, say, perhaps in some hypothetical situation, an NDA where I'm bound to, where you will not hear anything from me. It's just the way I roll. So that's as much as I can say. But nonetheless, it seems as if these leaks, and they're out there, everyone's seen them. It seems like they're starting to kind of create something within the community that's really interesting. And I wanted to point this out because as someone who's been in this community long enough, I can tell you that I kind of know and understand the way a lot of this community sort of kind of functions. There are so many things that this community has gone through and has had to deal with. And I think that there are a lot of different agencies within the community that in some cases, you got to try to find out or figure out where it is that those agencies stand. Today, I'm more interested in an agency that I want to go ahead and just give a forewarning about to those of you who may be new in the community, or some of you who've been, in a sense, more seasoned around our community. And that is the agency. And when I say agency, this may be people, agents, audience members, trolls, even some people who may have genuine concern for the Division franchise but may find themselves falling into this category. This agency is the agency that, in my opinion, does not want anything good for this franchise at all. You see, they may have started out as people who were purveyors of the franchise, who enjoyed the division as a whole, but over the course of time, they got disenfranchised. Maybe they allowed for the disappointments to really get too far at them, because every single person has their complaints and issues about the Division franchise. There's nobody that can tell me that they will play this entire franchise with googly eyes all through. Once you've played the Division 1 through Division 2, for a good amount of time, you will start to see issues. But I think this agency, is in a position where it just seems like they cannot bring themselves back to reconcile that even though the past issues have happened, there is some goodwill that the development of this franchise has actually acquired and has lost the goodwill and tried their best to reacquire it over and over again. Now, I get it. I'm a little bit more lenient. Many of you who know my coverage of the division, and it's on purpose because it's a franchise that I do like. Some people take it as an opportunity to call me names and shields and all that stuff. But, I know that they're trolls, and I go at it with them. We go back and forth and we troll one another. To me, they're just clowns, and we're all just clowning all over the place. If you get what I mean. I understand what a class clown is more than anything else, more than them. I've had hundreds and hundreds of class clowns, in the way I actually approach things. So to me, they're just a whole new different one. The only thing is I can't see their face, and they're mostly cowards behind a keyboard. Now, this agency, as I was saying, seems to have in some case maybe enjoyed or loved the game, and may have in some point had genuine criticism, or may still have genuine criticism. But I think with these leaks, it's about to start revealing if their criticism is genuine to the point of wanting the franchise to actually become a better franchise, or for them to just say, oh, I told you so, that I was right overall, trying to prove that, some sort of preconceived notion about the entirety of the franchise is correct or true. You see, what's really funny about it is the way a lot of people have responded to these leaks in a weird negative light has been really funny, because here's the catcher. The Division Heartland is going to be a free-to-play game. So it goes to, it goes to this position, or it actually brings me to the position where I say, if it's going to be a free-to-play game, how are you already so confident or excited that the way the leaks have been portrayed, how are you so excited that it's not something that the community seems to like? Or how are you in a position to already say that you think it's going to be terrible the way that it is? I mean, why does that seem to excite you? Why does that seem to make you happy? Maybe if it's not making you happy, you're probably, in a sense, I would say, giving the perception that you are somewhat happy that this is where you believe or think the game is going to go. And so when I look at the way people are reacting to this, I just wanted to go ahead and just say, keep a lookout and keep an eye out for a lot of these and just study for yourselves. I don't have to tell you who anybody is. You by yourselves, you division agents, you are very smart people. You are some of the most intellectual gaming community out there. We don't play a childish game. We play a game that actually requires a lot of, that mental intellect. And it's a whole different kind of gamer that plays a division. I'm bragging on the community right now. And you're going to see these elements. You're going to see these agencies. Now, also, don't dismiss anybody who may have criticism towards what it is that they see. Even though if it's an unfinished product, they may have genuine concerns. They may have genuine criticisms as well. But this is the time to perk up your ears, because this is a division game that is not going to cost a dime in terms of the entry. Yes, maybe down the road, who knows the way they intend on structuring their division Heartland game. But initially, you're going to start to see these elements crop up in the community. And I think this is going to point out to something that, says, imagine if their own response to this Division Heartland thing is this way. How much more the Division 2 when they actually paid for it? And you have to also ask, were they being 100% genuine in their criticism of the Division 2, even in some cases the Division 1? Or were they also taking this extremely negative approach because they probably had some preconceived notions, or maybe they were just being fairly critical? These are a lot of questions that need to be asked around the community at this particular time. Now, again, other things that I would say is, kind of help making me kind of stay away from covering or talking about the intricate details of the leaks is because the Division Heartland is not like the Division 2. Or the Division 1. I've spent 4 years studying the Division 1, not just playing it, but understanding the studio, the way they do things, the way they release their games, the way they release DLC, the way they release updates, the way they release PTSs. I've just taken my time to try to understand this. Now, I still have a lot to learn, but the Division Heartland, on the other hand, is being done by another studio. Now, granted, Red Storm worked on the Division 1 and the Division 2, but they worked in the capacity of a sister studio, a supporting studio. This is, in my opinion, the very first time that I know of Red Storm taking on a full-fledged game, in regard to this particular Division content or context or space. Other Red Storm games were back in the day when they kind of were doing their Tom Clancy thing, and those were, kind of like those were very different, set of circumstances surrounding game development at that time. So with this entire Heartland, kerfuffle or this entire thing, I'm in study mode. But again, it is very imperative that we as division agents take our time to pay attention to how everybody is approaching all of this stuff. And this is a very wonderful litmus test, because this is a free-to-play idea that this team is trying to bring, to the forefront. So I think it's going to be very interesting for us to see how that all plays out. But at the end of the day, when we get some news, everybody will get news. I love everybody getting news at the same time. Leaks are what they are. Some people love them. Some people hate them. I'm indifferent to them, to be very honest with you. It doesn't really in any way, shape, or bother me, because at the end of the day, it's the entirety of the community playing the finished work that really does matter. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and just continue to answer that question. If anybody asks me, so are you going to cover the leaks of Heartlands? I'm going to reply and say, what leaks?